Yes, people, it's back. Season 4 of On The Judy, where the football stories go beyond the pitch, from current changing rooms to legends telling their story. Football never sleeps, so we don't. New voices, same passion. We are back. Season 4.
And I know he generally thought like this as well. You know, in his head, he was like, he's not going to make it, because back in those days, young black kids, it's attitude. But I'm more than prepared to leave Arsenal to go down 2 to come back and play at the highest level. My England career was a non-starter. When people say, he was never good enough, nonsense, absolute nonsense. I was playing Champions League football for Man United. Those are the kind of things that really spurred me on. I remember sitting down with my granddad, and my granddad saying to me, sometimes you got to take that step backward to go forward. I enjoyed my time at Newcastle. But the one thing I could never get my head around was the adulation. I mean, footballers always get labelled as being flashy, you know what I mean? If they have a nice house or have a nice car. But the maddest thing is, it's such a short period. I would never, ever have had an agent if I knew what I knew now. I mean, you don't want to talk about the 5 acts. I mean, when you're at that stage, you talk about the ones that got away. Yeah, and when time comes, I don't want anyone to turn around and say, no, we're going to give him his flowers. I don't want it.
Yes, people, and we're back with another episode of On The Judy, and today's guest is a Premier League legend. 187 goals?
Yeah.
Yeah, 187 goals. One penalty.
One.
Yeah. So if you watch Premier League, Premiership years, the 100 goals thing on Sky Sports, catch my man, Yorke Cole, man. What's going on?
Yeah, good, man, good.
How's things been, man? Like, obviously, we'll get into depth of your career, but your son flourishing. Did you ever think he had the ability to go on and, be a pro footballer and emulate yourself?
I'll be very honest with you. When it comes to my son, whatever he's happy and wanting to do, I'd have let him do it. I never forced him into playing football. When he was real young, he used to want to play goalkeeper. And that was the maddest thing. I remember Yorke used to come around the house and say, yo, Coley, what's he doing playing in goal, man? I said, yo, he just wants to play in goal because he wasn't really on it like that. But don't forget, then he was only really young. Like I said, wanted to play in goal and that. And from there, he gradually grew with it. Went to Man City Academy and just snowballed from there. So I never forced him into it.
When did you realise that, he's got a bit and he might have a future? Like, obviously, he's got a future now, like he's playing, innit? But when did it click and be like, time to take it serious?
And I think for me personally, it's not a case of when I think he had a little something. I mean, because my opinion doesn't really matter. It's obviously his coaches, when he goes to a certain club or whatever, think, he might have a little something, might be able to progress to a high level. But the maddest thing is that I think when you have kids and you play at a decent level yourself, I think everyone's always expecting like your son is going to be at that level. Sometimes it doesn't happen, But with my boy, I always say to him, just go and enjoy it.
All right, another striker. Was there like a lot of, one-to-ones or little chats about you should do this in the box and do that in the box? Like, are you lot similar players?
No, we're totally different. We're totally different. We've grown in 2 different ways as well. My son, he would take a lot, whereby I wouldn't accept a lot. Okay. I mean, so that's where we're different. Yeah. But like I said, we've had different upbringings as well. He's totally different. I think TT was his play. He loved TT when he was younger. I mean, he still loves TT now, to be fair. But always try to model his game on TT. So we're totally different there. I think my game changed from when I was a kid at Arsenal, and then moving from Arsenal to Bristol City. And then from Bristol City, my game really changed to like going to Newcastle, where Kevin just wanted to score goals. Yeah. And then go to Man United and doing what I used to do when I was a kid at Arsenal and that. So, I went a full circle whereby my son is his best position. He likes to come off the left and do his little things. So,
Fair enough. Again, so do you ever have conversations about the different upbringings? Because obviously him growing up, his dad was Andy Cole. And you growing up, your dad was just Mr. Cole. Like, do you ever speak about like him staying level-headed and you know, not letting the lights of being a pro footballer get to him and stuff.
And I think that the good thing with my boy, yeah, he's never been like that anyway.
Okay, cool.
And that's why I take my hat off to him. You know, my boy is a quiet guy. I mean, but not a quiet guy because he's always in it with everyone.
Yeah.
You know, where I'm totally different again there. You know, I mean, my boy is very much he's a people person. He wants to be around things and whatever. And the upbringing he had, you know, he understands it. He got it early doors. Didn't really enjoy when we used to go out for dinner or whatever it may be. People coming up asking for autographs and pictures and things like that. I mean, that used to infuriate him when he was young. But as he's got older, he's understood that where he's come from, how dad's got himself in this position. And I mean, it's not easy at the top.
Yeah, of course,
It's not easy, but like I said, I'll take my hat off to him because he gets it and he's never been that kid who's been showy.
Yeah.
I mean, he's never been that guy.
So have you, like, I know you said he's not showy. Have you brought him up to be like humble, or have you just let him be him?
I've let him be him. I think due to the fact that he knows his dad's not showy. You know, and that's just the way I am. You know, I'm just a simple guy. I always say that people say, nah, blah, blah. What you've achieved and that, for me personally, I don't make any difference. If you're a simple guy, you're a simple guy. You know, and I've always moved like that. And I think my son looks at that and says, yeah, my dad is what he is.
Yeah.
I think sometimes my son ever got himself in my position, he would do certain things that I'd turn around and say, yo, big man. I don't like them kind of things. But because we're totally different. I've never gone out there wanting that high profile and that kind of lifestyle. I just want to go out there, do my thing, you know, bring fun, laughter, enjoyment for fans and that. And then when I'm done, just go home and chill out and do what I'm doing with my friends or whatever maybe.
I don't think you'd struggle in this day and age, and because, again, I kind of like compare it to, like, let's say going to Dubai. You know, like everyone looks at Dubai and thinks it's the flashy life, like Lambos and all of this stuff. But I've literally just come back with my family, and it's like, if you want to look for that stuff, you can go look for it. If you don't, you can do the chill thing. So like footballers, if you want to be out there and flashy and stuff, you can go and do that. But if you don't, if you want to chill, but this is what people don't understand. They see footballers and think, yeah, they're minted and they're all flashy, they're all bougie and all of that. But humans who've had who've been lucky and harnessed their ability and made a lot of money.
Yeah, very, very, very true. I mean, footballers always get labelled as being flashy. You know what I mean? If they have a nice house or have a nice car. But the maddest thing is, yeah, it's such a short period. I mean, 10, 15 years, thank you very much, see you later. and then that's when life really starts. You know, but you don't realise that until you actually find yourself in that position that you play football, you've retired at, I don't know, for instance, 35 or 40, whatever it is. I said, everyone shakes your hand and turn around and say, yeah, I'm 40, bro. My life just gets started now.
What do I do? Yeah.
Exactly, you've got possibly another 40, 50 years to live. I mean, God willing. So that's when your life starts, and whatever you've done in the past and financially, whatever you've made in the years that you play football, that's got basically kind of like last you for a lifetime, you know? And there's not, however people look at it, not everyone makes a hell of a lot of money. You know?
Again, you don't know people's pocket. You don't know what their outgoings are.
Exactly.
You don't know deep down what they're actually bringing in.
Exactly.
You don't know who they're looking after and stuff.
There you go. You know, so it's not as easy as everyone makes it out to be. Yeah.
No, fair enough. Speaking on strikers, what's your take on the evolution of strikers? Because strikers from your era to strikers now, massive difference. I feel like you lot had a lot more freedom to be bullies and to be flashy, like on the pitch, flashy and flary and score goals. But nowadays it's like, okay, we just want you to score goals. Like take Haaland, for instance. He's just told, be a fox in the box. Whereas you guys could drop deep and mix it up and stuff. Like, what's your view on that? Do you enjoy it?
Naturally, the game's changed as well. If you look at football in general, there's not many number 9s. Well, I'm sitting there thinking possibly one number 9. That's much would be Haaland. Yeah. But if you look at the guys that have played, you know, Lewandowski Man, he was top draw. But if you look at the way he's changed now as well, he'll drop deep, he'll get turned, he'll do things that you turn and say, so, well, yeah, okay. Benzema, I love watching Benzema play when he was at Real. Same kind of thing. He was not out and out number 9. So, like I said, if you look at football now, everyone wants that. And number 9 will come back when? We don't know. Because however you look at football now, everyone can't play the way everyone's playing now.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, 5, 10 years' time, it most will change again where you'll have a number 9 and you'll have a number 10 and you try and mix it up.
Yeah.
Just like everyone plays the same system. And I watch in League One football. And League One football is trying to play like Liverpool or Man City. And you turn around and say, so, have you actually forgot why you actually play at this level?
Yeah.
I'm saying, because everyone can't play that way. So you got to play to your strengths.
No, fair enough. All right, cool. Let's go back to you now. Where did it all begin? Like, where did the passion and the love for football start?
I think that when you're born in England and grew up in England, my parents are both Jamaican. When you grow here, that's all you know is football. I mean, my dad was, when he was here, loved cricket. My dad always used to say to me seriously, oh, come on, you've got to play cricket. And I could play cricket. I could play cricket to a decent level.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but Dad, I genuinely think I'm good at football, I remember my dad saying to me, black man can't make no living off football. I mean, but when I'm young, I'm like, of course I can.
Yeah.
I mean, but as I'm older now, I'm understanding more. My dad was obviously seeing it from his point of view, coming to England from Jamaica and going through what he's gone through. So he's half protecting me and saying, no, you can go play cricket though, because as black men, we can go out and go play cricket because the West Indies were so strong there, So like I said, it's just growing up. My passion was always football. I could play cricket. I'm a bit of a sport billy, to be fair. I could play most sports.
Okay.
I mean, if I put my mind to it, I play most sports. But football was like always my biggest passion. Like I said, behind that, cricket, basketball and things like that. But football was my go-to when I was young.
Would you go and school with a cricket bat in your bag and that, or?
No. But this is the craziest thing. When I was young, I was playing cricket. My games teacher said to me, right, if you score 50, I will buy you a bat.
No way.
So I just got my head down, scored a 50. That's for me. That's for me. I'm like, okay then. Once you give me a challenge, I said, no problem. I say, boom, knocked off to 50, got myself a bat, and then my dad was like buzzing because you know what I mean.
Same thing, man.
Oh, exactly. But for me, like I said, football was always my game, man. It was always my game.
Where was you? So Nottingham Forest coming for you?
When I was young, Nottingham Forest. Obviously, I used to go in there because when you, 12, 13, you play for little feeder teams.
Yeah.
So I used to play for a little feeder team there. And when you're that young, you just play and enjoy yourself. You're not really worried about, I'm with this club or I'm with that club or what. You just got there and enjoy what you're doing. So when I was real young, like I said, it was just a little feeder team that I used to play for on Sunday mornings when I was real young. Yeah.
You see that, what you just said? I feel like that's gone. Like, kids now feel like they have to be at an academy at 12, or the parents feel like, my son's not in an academy system, he's not going to make it. It's like the pressure is on these kids. And I was like, they're not being kids. They're not enjoying, like, some of them love it, but they're not really enjoying. They're playing with too much pressure at 12 years old.
I hear that. See, for me, this is the maddest thing. Yeah, when I was young, like, them kind of age, like 11, 12, I mean, my mum was just happy, because she knew I was.
Okay, yeah. You're not out doing badness.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So for like, my mum and dad is like, okay, we know Andrew's at football from, for instance, 10:30, get home by most will be 1, 2 o'clock. So at least we know where he is. Yeah. So I don't need to worry about if he's out a road and he's doing a badness or whatever. It's like, So when you talk about parents now, say, feeder teams and that, my parents, so long we know where he is for them few hours, we're good.
Yeah, he's either at football or he's coming to church.
You had to go Sunday school them times, you know what I'm saying? Nothing changed there, boy.
Was it difficult for your parents to juggle, like, work and taking you to football, or like adapting football into your lifestyle?
Same again. When I was growing up, I mean, money wasn't free flowing. I mean, my dad worked hard, my mum worked hard, yeah, but it wasn't free flowing. I come from a big family. I'm saying, so for me, it was like, okay, boom, this is how it's gonna work, yeah. If I'm gonna play football on Saturday for my district or whatever, my dad will give me like my bus fare to jump on the bus to go football or whatever. Now, if I played for the feeder team on the Sunday, I'd have one of the parents' dads pick me up. I'm saying, so, because my dad never drove, my mum never drove. Later on, my brother drove. So for me to get about, that was how I was getting around. For them, it's like there wasn't really under that pressure to know that to get me from A to B. But back in those days, yeah, as a kid, you could move freely. Not what we see in the world today. I'm saying when everyone's worried about the children and that. So yeah, so for me, that everything was calm due to the fact that, boom, they know Andrew needs his bus fare on Saturday morning. Yeah. Sunday morning, they know such and such is going to pick him up. We're good to go.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And we weren't the era of phones where they
Not phone.
Maybe a call box. Like.
Man, it was so mad. You see, when I was young, yeah, I used to do some crazy things. Yeah. So I was going for trials to get into Lillyshaw when I was like 14, and then I arranged with one of the guys' dads to pick me up in the morning. And I just said to myself, he ain't finding nothing, man. That was my mind, he ain't finding anything, I'm not going. Sunday morning, I'm sleeping during bare power. My phone rings, the house phone rings. My mum picks up the phone and she said to me, Andrew, we've got Mr. Robinson on the phone. He said he's picking you up at 9:30. You're still in bed. Yeah, and I was like, oh, yeah. All right, Mama, I'll just quickly get dressed and I'll go. Because I had no intentions. And this time of my life, I had no intentions of going for the trials to try and get into the national school. None whatsoever.
You just didn't want it?
No, I wasn't interested. And the only reason I got into the national school in the end because the man phoned my house. And my mum got me up to say, yo, the man's waiting for you. You can't just be disrespectful. Go and meet him because he's going to take you. It's the only reason I got into the national school.
That's crazy.
Yeah, after I went through all the trials and obviously mash up the trials to get through it. And then you get chosen as one of the best 16 boys in the country. I remember you got to sit down with one of the guys at the FA at the time. What's his name? His name was Charles Hughes. So I'm sitting down with him and the man was saying to me, if we give you a place, because we're not sure, it was obviously a bit of a naughty boy at school and we've seen your school reports and that you've been suspended X amount of times and all them kind of things. I remember sitting there and saying to myself, do you think I really want to come? I'm saying that was, do you think I really want to come? I'm only coming if I get in here is because I don't want to give my dad any more grief. I don't want to get in no more trouble. So that was the only reason I would come to this place. Otherwise, I wouldn't be coming anywhere. You know? And then they obviously gave me my spot. I just said to myself, it's only 2 years, isn't it? 2 years, I know that for them 2 years, my mum and dad ain't going to worry about him and say, he's out of road. He might catch up in whatever. We know he's going to go there to play football because that was my love.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was the only reason I went.
No, fair enough. Do you think parental support is key for like an aspiring footballer? So like, for example, for myself, I played the feeder clubs. And my mum probably came to one training session, and that's just to sign me in and pay the money. And until my dad realised I was actually pretty decent, then he started. But other than that, I'm getting bus to football, bus back, getting a lift from different parents, or going to the meet point, getting a lift from different parents. And then on the way home, I'm getting caught in mix-up. Whereas the kids that didn't probably had their chance to go further because they're going home, and by like 1, 2 o'clock, they're in having their dinner. And they're just thinking football, whereas I'm trying to dodge mix-up. Or, do you know what I'm saying?
Generations have changed. If I sit down and look at myself, I'll turn around and say, boom, okay, this side work for me, My mum didn't come and watch me play football, working, or Saturday morning, you know what I mean? You know when you Saturday morning, you got Caribbean parents, You're out on the road doing food shopping where you're carrying the bags. You know them ones.
I know that.
There you go.
All you do. I was doing it myself. Like I was carrying big bags.
There you go.
Green banana and that.
Right. My dad But like I said, I mean, love my dad is no longer with us, but love my dad. I mean, my dad and football was like, it don't work. So for me personally, I was always, I'm going to go through because I think I'm good enough. I mean, generations have changed. You know, parents now will go and support their children, you know, take them wherever they can take their children. Financially, if they can afford to drive their own car or whatever it may be, they will do just that. You know, back in our generation, it was a lot harder. You know, for me, like my son, I mean, I was taking him, I mean, here, there, and everywhere. You know, if I played on a Saturday, went out a Saturday night, come in, I don't know, for instance, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, I know I've got to be up at 8 to take him to football. I mean, stand up and watch him, then take him home, and that. It's changed.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it is. You know, there's parents that want to live their dream for their children, you know, and that's a tricky one.
Yeah.
That's tricky there. But for me personally, you know, it's always nice to get support from your parents, especially in the generation we are now, because if your kid loves to do what he's doing, it's a great thing. Like I said, for me, it made no difference for me.
Fair enough. So how long until Arsenal came knocking?
So I signed for Arsenal when I was 14, on my 14th birthday.
What a present.
Yeah. 14th birthday. They've been watching me for a minute. Like I said, when I was young, I was just playing football to enjoy it, you know.
Sorry to cut you. Did you understand the game of football? Because obviously you're just naturally good, so you're just using your natural ability, minimal tactical knowledge. Or did you know, like...
Yeah, I think back then it was, you see when you're young, yeah, it's just, what you used to see on the TV then, because don't forget, the game had changed. When we were young, it wasn't about like watching football and man's like mashing mad tricks or anything like that.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't like that. It was a case of, man used to do certain things, drop his shoulder, put the ball in the box, and someone used to come and head it in, or that's what football was when I was younger, you know. So what I'm watching on Match of the Day, when I was younger, I never used to miss Match of the Day. It was like, I want to try and do those things. So for me, tactically, did I know a lot about football? Most probably not. But I know I was quick, you know. I know I could score a goal, and I've got in the right position. I had to do just that. Saying every now and then, of course you're gonna like do a little trick because you think, right, how am I gonna get past this individual? But tactically at 14 or younger than 14, it's more about enjoying it, you know, and running fast and scoring goals. You know, it's like
doing your job basically. Yeah.
Just like I watch my nephew now, and my nephew said to me the other day, he scored like 50 goals already. I'm like, how you score 50 goals already? Yeah.
What type of league is it?
That's what I'm saying. But that's what they do. So I think they play 4 25s.
Okay, yeah.
So he's just banging bare goals. Yeah, and he said, Unks, I've scored 50 goals already. I'm like, in how many games? 25. You know what I'm saying? You know, because if you watch when they play small-sided games, now them little 8-a-side or whatever, 4 25, it's all about scoring goals, and they're buzzing because they're scoring big goals and whatever.
And a lot of them don't play the full game of like you'll play 2 quarters or 3 quarters.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. When we were younger, it was 60 minutes or whatever. Big pitch, big goals. You know, so it was a big difference.
Okay. So you're at Arsenal, excelling through, training with the first team, and then you meet the late Kevin Campbell. Did he take you under his wing? Because obviously he was a senior player straight away, or is it like he saw something in you?
It was wicked, to be fair. I played one youth cup game the year Arsenal won the youth cup, and Kev was in it. Played one youth cup game, and then I joined the year after. So when I joined, obviously Kev moved up into the reserves, and from then, when I moved to London when I was 16, you know, the way he looked after me when I was a YT and that, it was just mad. Take me out on a night out, which really I'm a YT, and I mean, So he used to take me out. And I remember he used to say, "Right, Coles, I'm in at such and such a time. Come to my house in the morning, and I'll take the training. I might not be able to take you back because if we finish, I'm going to shoot off. But all them kind of things. Introduced me to his family, and I mean, Kevin, as I've said to many people, Kevin's like my big brother.
Yeah, man.
You know, the way he used to look after me and that. And like I said, you know, and he's passed away now, which, I mean, it's always a hurtful thing. But I remember when we went to his 9-9, some of the men them that I ended up growing up with and knowing as Kevin's friends, you know, saying Kevin always used to say to me, you know, this kid can play, you know, but he's bad. I mean, he's bad. He can play, but boy, he's bad. I mean, but people like that around, like people like Kevin, shape me.
Yeah.
You know, to know Yorke Cole's, I mean, try and do it this way and try and do it that way. And he used to pull me at times, you know, such and such is a bit of a so-and-so, but if you do it this way, it'll be good to go. So yeah, I'll always have nothing but love and respect for him.
Do you reckon your career would have ended up how good it was without him, without meeting him at Arsenal?
Most probably not. But like I said, I was very fortunate because when I was at Arsenal, you know, I'd Kev used to help me. Mercer's brilliant. Michael Thomas, David Rocastle, Paul Davis,
Wow.
Boldy, Steve Bold.
See, I'm an Arsenal fan, so you're saying all the legends. I'm just
Tony Adams. And who else? For some reason, yeah, I don't know where it was. Martin Hayes as well. For some reason, yeah, them guys used to love me off. So we'd be in the canteen back then, and they used to say, Coley, come over here, let's have a chat. I'm like, oh my God, what are they gonna say to me now? Because I'll go in there and sometimes I'll just go into madness in training. Yeah, and they'll say to me, what are you doing seriously? I'm like, what do you mean? He said, oh, Pat's told me what you've been like in training. He said, do you know how much talent you have? And I'll be like, oh, I can't bother with this, and I swear down. I'm saying, because it would have been every other day, one of them would pull me and say, hey, come man, let me have a chat with you. Do you know how much talent you have? Yeah. And you're gonna waste all that talent. And I'm like, yeah, I'm trying, but such and such. But he said, yeah, don't worry about that. Just do what you gotta do. So I was very fortunate with all them guys here that always showed me love when I was at Arsenal. You know, come sit down with me or whatever. You know, back then, when I was a YT, used to play at hybrid, I wasn't allowed to go in the dressing room. It was his first team, and I'm a YT.
Okay.
Yeah. They used to say, Coley, just come in here, man. Seriously, I'm like, I'm not allowed in. They said, oh, don't worry about it, don't worry, just come in here. And all of them would have me in the dressing room with them, laughing, joking. And I felt out of place because these are senior pros, man. They're playing for Arsenal Football Club in the first team. I'm like a YT, second year YT or first year YT. And the way they dealt with me is like, these guys believe in me so much, yeah, it's unbelievable how much they believed in me. And sometimes people believe in you more than you believe in yourself, you know, but they always used to galvanize me and say, you know, the talent you have, yeah, and you're gonna waste your talent, you know, and I'll never forget any of them because the way, like I said, just the way they looked after me when I was young was just phenomenal.
I feel like, maybe, I don't know, because I'm not in that pro footballer world element as well, but it's like it's gone. It's like when there's a very talented young person, the senior pros don't really take, like you had an abundance of them looking after you. A lot of them don't really, they're like maybe have one or two words with him, and then if he doesn't listen, then it's, he's not listening to me. They were, every day was a different person.
Every day. Every single day.
And then I just feel like that's gone because there's talent out there that's just gone, like Ravel Morrison. Obviously, I don't know the ins and outs. And then there's a few that have been at Chelsea. I can't remember their names off the top, but there's talent everywhere. It's just gets fizzled out because of attitude.
It's mad. The crazy thing for me here, see, when I was at Arsenal, then I left, yeah, and I've gone back, and so many of them said to me, you're not Cody. I think 4 or 5 of them went to go see George. They said to him, big mistake. You should never have sold him. And then, like, when they're telling me that, I'm like, you actually went in there to tell George that he made a mistake? He said, yeah. We told him we should never have sold you. Yeah. Obviously, you're a bit of a problem at times. Yeah, but we knew your talent, and we knew that you was gonna go in and achieve what you wanted to achieve. You know, and when they said that, I'm like, yo, man. That's how I know how much they were looking out for me. Man. Yeah. But sometimes, you know, you go on that path and you try and say to yourself, I'm not hearing what you're saying. You know? I'm gonna do it my way. Yeah, and that's exactly the way I did it. And I remember Paul Davis many years later, because I've always got on with Pops, you know. And he always said, you did it your way. And I always said to him, I could never do it any other way. Because ultimately, I've got to be true to me. When I look myself in the mirror, I've got to look to myself and say, this is the way I did it. I did it the way I thought was right for me.
Fair.
Right? But I'm never going to tell someone else, yo, do it my way, because my way worked for me and I know what I am. But I could never say to a young kid growing up, yo, do it this way, or even say to my son, do what I know, because we're different.
Yeah.
You know, I would take the rough and tumble. I'd take the knockbacks and I'll prove people wrong, whereby some people might not be able to do that.
Just imagine you didn't go here. It would have been Yorke and Wright, not Yorke and Cole.
It could have been. It could have been. I only spent a little bit of time at Arsenal when Wright came to Arsenal, because I basically knew then my chances of playing were going to be slim. That Quinny was still there then, Alan Smith, Kev, Wright was there, Grovesy, I think Hazy was still there as well. So I'm really saying to myself, it's going to be tough. And, you know, what the manager thought of me is, well, the manager just thought, it's a problem. You know, so if it's a problem, if I can get rid of this problem, I've got nothing else to worry about, because in his head, and I know he generally thought like this as well, you know, in his head, it was like, he's not going to make it, because back in those days, young black kids, it's attitude. I mean, he's got an attitude, he's got a chip on his shoulder. I mean, when you got little Freddie over there, little Freddie in the same age, does a little something, chirpy,
flair,
a little bit chirpy in it, I mean, I like that about him. I'm saying, so we were never compared on the same level, you know. So for me, look, going away when I went away was perfect, because in the back of my mind, I was just saying to myself, I'm showing every single one of you, that you've all doubted me, and some might turn around later on and turn, oh no, we didn't. But I mean, when I left Arsenal, there was so many people saying, we let him go because he wouldn't score enough goals. We didn't think he'd score 10 goals in the Premier League. He was arrogant. We didn't work hard enough. So it was always those kind of things. So in the back of my mind, you know, those are the kind of things that really spurred me on. I remember sitting down with my granddad, and my granddad saying to me, you know, sometimes you got to take that step backward to go forward. And when my granddad said that to me, I said, there you go. I mean, that was that spark in me saying, I'm going to leave Arsenal. I might have gone down 2 divisions at the time, but I'm more than prepared to leave Arsenal, to go down 2, to come back and play at the highest level.
And I guess when you do that, when you come out of a big club like Arsenal and you drop 2 leagues, you have to grow as a man. Like, you're not a little boy no more. Like, you've got to fend for yourself. Like, even you probably had to wash your own kit, or like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know how it was back then, but I know a lot of lower league teams, like my mate was at Blackpool, you get your training kit, you got to wash it yourself and then turn up, do you know what I'm saying?
That was mad. That was when I was on loan at Fulham. This mad. It was when I was on Fulham, Young kid, first loan. We used to train at Putney Fire Station.
There's no way. So I grew up in Putney.
Well, there you go. So you know where the fire station is, So we used to train there, and them pitches was, oh, man. It's just bare mud. Bare mud, And I used to come home, and I used to give my kit to my sister. And my sister used to look at my kids and say, you what? Andrew, where you been? I said, I was training. She said, why so much mud? I mean, because the pitch was shocking.
Not any better now.
Well, there you go. So, when I made that move, because that was my loan move, and then I made a permanent move. You know, I was fortunate then that we didn't have to take our kit home, but being at Bristol City then, and then obviously being at Arsenal to Bristol City, there's no comparison. But for me, it was that life-changing experience that I knew I had to take, and I'm glad I took it.
Just going back to the Yorke and Cole, did you see how Kev saw something in you? Obviously, Yorke was established footballer by the time you two had met. Did you see something in him that, like, you got a bit like, come, me and you link up and...
With that situation, it was never meant to happen. You know, Sir Alex at that time was trying to bring in Patrick Kluivert.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But Pat left AC and went to Barca. I mean, so Yorke come in. He plays Yorke with Ollie, Teddy, Giggsy, Scholesy, and he didn't think that me and Yorke could play together. So when Yorke first came to Man United, I mean, I took him out, walked him around my house. I mean, helped him find a house, all them kind of things. So for me, I'm like saying to myself, well, if he's come to Man United, yeah, of course my place is under threat, but there's nothing wrong with me showing him love.
Yeah, of course, yeah,
you know, and try to look after him. I did that. And then we finally got the game against Southampton at the Old Dell. And then boom, it just happened from there.
The rest is history.
Yeah. And sometimes, you know what, in life in general, some person will come into your life, yeah, and certain things will start changing. If that's i.e. a woman or a friend or business colleague or whatever it may be, comes into your life when you're not expecting it, and then things will start clicking. That was me and Yorke. He just come into my footballing life then, like, he was like he was meant to be. Like the big man said, yo, I'm going to give you this guy, yeah? What happens after this is going to be down to you.
But that's your...
Yeah.
That's your trigger for...
There you go.
Yeah, fair enough. And this mad is that you two's partnership, the chemistry is like, it's historic. Like, you've got you, and then people talk about you and Cole. I mean, you and Yorke, Defoe and Crouch, Henry and Bergkamp. You know, it's so funny. My mates, yeah, they call each other Yorke and Cole and that. Well, they used to. Now they're happily married. But they call each other Yorke and Cole and night out. Like, I'll just leave that to the imagination. But so you left Arsenal. You grew as a man. Newcastle, biggest club up north. Sorry for the other two teams that are up there. Big club. Did you feel like you was ready?
Good question. I
It
don't
was a
really.
record signing as well. Like at the time, like
You know, I, when I went to Newcastle, yeah, the crazy thing was when I went to Newcastle, it was like this. I spoke to Kevin. You know, Kevin phoned me and I spoke to him. He said to me, Cole, we've agreed a fee with Bristol City. Can you come up on the shuttle tonight? And I said, no, I can't because I'm doing my laundry. Yeah, no, it's a real thing, yeah. Real thing.
Man with priorities.
Yeah, 100%, yeah. And then he said, can you come up tomorrow? So I said, yeah, I'll come up tomorrow. So like I said, I spoke to him, but I did a lot of speaking to Lee Clark as well. I spoke to Clarky, and I was like saying, Clarky. It's like, because Clark is a Geordie boy, massive Newcastle fan. He said, oh, Coles, come man, you score goals, they love you and all that. And I remember saying to him, I said, do you know how far it is?
Bro, it's basically another country.
Yeah, and he was saying, oh, don't worry about that. He said, I'll look after you. And I remember saying, Clark, it's near Scotland. Yeah? And he kept saying to me, Coley, don't worry about it. I'll look after you. I promise you, I'll look after you. He said, the fans will love you. Yeah, and he said, you'll score so many goals in his team. So when Clarky said that to me, I said, I'm just going to go for it. You know? Man, go for it. You know?
This is before you even knew how cold it was.
Yeah.
You were worried about how far.
I was worried about how far it was.
Winter's up there.
You know? And then I just made my mind up, I'm going to go for it. Clarky said he'll look after me. And that's all I was thinking about then was like, he said he'll look after me. I mean, I've known him because we played football together for a long time, 21s and all that kind of stuff. And he said, I've got you. So I said, all right, then, yeah. Went to Newcastle, signed. And then I really enjoyed it. You know, there's been a lot of nonsense made over the years that Andy Cole this, Andy Cole that. It's nonsense. I enjoyed my time at Newcastle. But the one thing I could never get my head around was the adulation. I couldn't. For me, I'm like, yo, I just want to play football, man. I'm saying, let me play football, make you guys happy. I'll go home, you guys will go home happy, and then we move on. When you play football in Newcastle, it wasn't like that. Because like you said, was I ready? I wasn't ready for that.
Yeah, okay.
I wasn't ready for the adulation of me going out there playing football, scoring goals. Man, like, happy that they've won. And then you go out on a night out and...
It's swamped.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah.
But you didn't even buy a drink on the night out.
That's what I'm saying. But I was like, I only play football, and I'm saying I'm doing my job. Obviously, I want to keep you guys happy, but that part I wasn't ready for. If I was older and understood what it was, it's totally different.
Yeah, yeah.
But I found that really, really difficult to deal with. And I remember Kevin saying, Cole, you need to embrace it. You need to embrace it. I'm like, embrace it? I was just about to get used to it. I just want to play football and go home. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You're a humble person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was tough. I'm not going to lie. And I've said many times, that was really, really tough to know that all these people could have all this adulation for me doing my job and try to send them home happy. You know? Like I said, I'm not that individual who says, oh, look at me, I want you to be. No, man, because I've been brought up in a way to whereby, we're all equal. It's simple as that. Don't matter how much money you have or whatever it may be. We all come into the world and we all go out in the world.
Yeah, man.
You know, so all the other stuff is what it is. So just stay humble, you know.
Do you know what's mad? And this is me being like judging you before actually meeting you, but it's kind of like, maybe it's because of the media, like planting a seed, like you don't give off that impression, but you're actually a very humble person. And say like you struggled with the fame and, that comes with the playing in the Northeast is crazy. So fair play to you, because on the pitch, it didn't show that you struggled, because 34 goals in your first season?
Yeah, but I'm out there doing what I want to do. I'm playing football, that's what I love. If someone said to you, right, yeah, go out there and play football, you go and play football. If someone said to you, yo, after football finishes, you're 4:45, and then you're done, you leave the ground at 6 and you still got, I don't know, 3,000-4,000 people outside waiting for autographs and that. Back then you go training, Kevin will give open training. You could possibly have 3,000-4,000 people at training. I'm like, yo, big man. You know what I'm saying? And the maddest thing, when we was training, and we'd finished training and everyone was walking in, I try and hide behind people so I could get into the dressing room, get showered and go home. I'm saying, and people are saying, no, Coley's over there. You know, and everyone come over to me, I'm like, oh, man, I can't have this. But like I said, if I was older, I'd been able to deal with it better. But because I was young, I'm like, I just play football, man. I don't look at myself any different than the men or women who used to come and watch me play football. You know, I've got a talent, been given this talent, I'm using it to my full capabilities. Don't put me on a pedestal because you say, oh my God, you scored. That's what I've been blessed to do. But whatever you do in your job, I can't do that.
Yeah.
You know?
But it's the fan culture, and
yeah, for sure.
It's what they do, isn't it? Which is why I think Newcastle is a big club, because if you go out there and you don't shine, they'll let you know. But if you do shine, you're up there. Do you know what I'm saying?
It's brilliant to play there. And then for me personally as well, to know that so many other black players have gone there off the back of me saying, yo, Coley, you went there and you made our decision because you went up there, you did well and whatever it may be.
That's it.
And that's made me feel proud as well.
They got a young Andy Cole now. It's like doing this thing. I want him at Arsenal. He's a problem.
Yeah, I like him, man. I like him. Man. I liked him before he was even at Newcastle. You know, good player.
Yeah, man.
He's got all the attributes to play for. I'm going to say one of the big four, but if Newcastle could spend the finances that they had, they would be up there as well.
So, fair enough. But yeah, you scored the 34 goals in your first season. Only other player to do that, Alan Shearer, because this is Prem still young.
Yeah.
So surely England managers like ringing you up and saying, right, like.
Nah, my England career was a non-starter. When people say, oh, he was never good enough. Oh, nonsense, absolute nonsense. I was playing Champions League football for Man United. I was banging goals. I was playing better teams, Champions League football for Man United than England were playing when they were playing internationals. So if I'm banging goals in the Champions League, you can't tell me that I wasn't good enough. But my England career was a non-starter from basically the start. I remember I was at Newcastle, training possibly 3 times a week. I was struggling with compartment syndrome, whereby I was exercising, my calves weren't expanding enough to make the blood run through. So I was struggling, like I said, 3 times a week. But still scoring goals, still going on with the madness. And I remember David Davis at the FA called Kevin at Newcastle. Now, where we used to train at Maiden Castle, Kevin had his little office just at the start of the building where you walked in. So he said, "Oh, Coley, come in there, listen to this."
So he's the first person you see when you walk.
Yeah. So he said, "Coley, listen to this." Brought me in his office and that. Sat there. Kevin's got the phone like this. Huh? So I've sat there. I'm listening. Right, cool. So David Davies is saying to Kevin, "Well, yeah, Kevin, this is the situation. Terry's not going to put Andy in the squad due to whatever reasons. But how we're going to dress it up is like he's struggling with injury, and he's not training, but he's just playing and whatever." I remember sitting there and saying to myself, "This is crazy. This is crazy. I mean, I'm not fair enough. I don't train every single day, but I play on a Saturday or Tuesday or whenever it is. I'm scoring goals. Now, that should be good enough to get me into the England squad." Yeah. And like I said, the convo is continuing. And I said, I just sat there shaking my head and saying to myself, "Yo, is this how it's going to work?" You know? Finished that. I'm guessing that's that. You know? And I walked out the office saying to myself, "That's shit." I'm saying to know that, yeah, I get it. I don't train every day. I hear that, but I'm playing and I'm scoring goals. You know what I'm saying? And I always looked at that part and said to myself, that was basically then my England career was done and dusted. Because after that, Terry moved on. I worked under Terry, Sven, Kevin,
Glenn Hoddle as well.
Glenn Hoddle, you know. Howard Wilkinson had me for a game. And I went through all those managers. It's like, it never materialised. And then when I'm playing, I'm at Man United, smashing it, doing well, scoring goals. You know, Glenn come out of that statement, "Oh, he needs 5 chances to score a goal." And everyone jumped on that. The media went, "Oh, yeah, let's jump on that." So the media jumped on that. And what made me laugh was I come out of the response and said, "Yo, I'm not accepting that," whatever it was. They would turn around saying, "Oh, you can't say that." So I said, "Well, but Glenn can say what he said, and he's good."
Yeah.
I mean, so if you ever noticed throughout my career, it was always, "Oh, Andy Cole needs 5 chances to score goals." But the maddest thing, I just flip it on his head and say, "Oh, okay, that's not a problem." But I got 5 chances, didn't I?
And it's cool.
Yeah, so can you imagine if I took all those 5 chances?
Sorry to cut you, against Ipswich, you did score 5.
Yeah. But if I'd taken all those 5 chances, do you imagine how many goals I would have scored? I mean, no one ain't got an answer for that. You know, so I was just saying to myself, I know what time it is. I know the games you're trying to play, but you're not going to break me in doing what I know I can do.
Do you feel like, now this is just me speculating, yeah, so feel free to ignore it. Do you feel like they were protecting Shearer? Like you as the threat, but it shouldn't be the threat because it should be healthy competition.
Everything should be healthy competition, because I remember growing up when I was a kid and watching England play. Whoever's playing well for their respective club got an opportunity to play for England. And then England started to become very much like a club feel. I mean, whoever played last international was going to play the next international.
Yeah.
So even if you look at England now, you know, throughout the years, you already know the 11.
Yeah. Whether they're playing well or not. Yeah.
So, you know, so the rest of the boys, if you ever hear about, used to be talking about, players used to pull out of the England squad and it wasn't injured and all that. Because players would turn around and say, well, that's going to be the team. I'm going to go away for 10 days. All I'm going to do is train for 10 days. I might as well stay at my respective club and do the same thing. Might get a couple of days off, but why am I going to go when I'm not going to play? So even if he's playing well for your respective club, you always knew your chances of playing were slim. And if you did play, they might give you 45 minutes or one game and turn around and say, "Oh, not good enough."
In a nothing game as well, that don't mean, yeah.
But then you turn around and say to yourself, how can you judge anybody off one game? And then turn around and say, "Oh, he's not good enough for international football." But how many games he had? Oh, he's had 1. So when does he get that opportunity? Well, he doesn't, because he showed he's not good enough after 1 game. So that was always the same thing. That was always the same theme with England. But if you look at that time as well, England had a lot of good centre forwards that could have played, scored goals and contributed towards, England trying to win a major tournament.
Yeah. I feel like a rotation, like few games, each player gets a few games. And it changes it up because you then, if the team you're playing against knows they got Alan Shearer, they just set up to protect Alan Shearer. But if they got, they're going to flip it and play Andy Cole, we've got to change up, or Les Ferdinand, or Ian Wright, do you know what I'm saying? But,
and at that time, England were blessed with a hell of a lot of centre forwards.
yeah, man. But now it's just Harry Kane, maybe Ollie Watkins gets a few, but they're just lucky that people behind Harry Kane's a good striker, and people behind him can create stuff. But, yeah, man, England, don't know, man. Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I always look at my England career and I said, it is what it is, man. I've never lost any sleep over because naturally you retire and people still ask you about, what about your England career? And I always say, look, I don't sit at home rocking myself to sleep about it. So, in the end, it never bothered me. Just like when my England career ended, I just turned around and said, I'm not having people treat me like that anymore. I played, scored against Albania, was suspended for the next game. I remember Sven saying to me, right, you're suspended for the next game. I'm not going to pick you in the next squad, but after that, you're back in. I never heard from Sven again. So I turned around and said to myself, what's the point?
Yeah, fair enough.
I just call it quits now, And then I do that, and then people, who do you think you are? What do you mean, who do I think I am? I'm a grown man, I can make my own decisions. Now, if you think that I can't make my decisions, someone else will make those decisions for me, who are you to be telling me what I can and can't do? I made my mind up that I'm not prepared to do it anymore. Yeah, I call it quits.
Because it wasn't an issue when Paul Scholes done it, because he called it quits. Young as well.
So I had to call it quits. And there was a problem that because I called it quits. So I'm like, can't bother that nonsense.
Now, do you feel like if you were more present for England, you'd get more respect? Because let's have it right, yeah? If you look at your name and your stats, it's not until people say, right, he done this, this, and this, people are like, oh my God, yeah. But before that, they don't really put you in that top 5. Do you know what I'm saying?
I think everyone's starting to realise now it's a total lack of respect. I mean, everyone realises it now. That's why so many people are more prepared to talk out about it now. They're going to turn and say, well, there's actually nothing that I've not done that anyone else has done. I mean, so you turn and say, so you can praise this individual about doing whatever, but don't forget someone's actually done it before that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you, Champions League, tick. Premier Leagues, tick. FA Cups, tick. Like,
exactly.
100 plus goals, tick.
And if you look at a lot of stuff that's coming out now regarding centre forwards and that, if I'm not at the top, I'm within the top 3, top 4.
That's what I said, top 5. But until someone says, yeah, but Andy Cole's got this, this, and this, or scored this, this, and this. Oh yeah, he's got to go. We'll take out Suarez, and do you know what I'm saying? But it's disrespectful. Do you know what I'm saying?
Of course it is.
But that's what I'm saying. Do you think if you were more present for England, it would?
I don't think it would. If I was more present for England or not, I just look at that and say to myself, that's the system. That's how they like to play their games. You know what I'm saying, but I remember my dad when I was young, and I said, my dad, I want to play football. I remember my dad saying to me, okay, Indian, okay. But I'm going to tell you now, you're going to have to be 3-4 times better than your white counterpart. I was like, what do you mean? He said, well, I'm telling you, you have to be 3-4 times better than your white counterpart. Because I'd not experienced what my dad had been through. I'm a young kid. Yeah? And then when I realized I played football, achieved what I achieved, a lot of the records that people are talking about now, like I said, I've done it.
Yeah.
I mean,
quickly as well.
Yeah. But they only talk about it when someone's coming up to surpassing it or getting close to it. So, like I said, the way I answer that is now is like, okay, for me, I ain't got a problem with it. I don't have a problem. But if I was the first person to do it, of course, don't try and make it I've not done it. Just like the people used to look at, top Premier League scorers. At the time I was third, second, or whatever it was. So whatever number I was, it would go 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. So what after 3? Is 3 being erased or something? Because they don't want to mention my name. And I look at that and say to myself, well, that's cool because the way the game is based now, everything's based on stats and what. You can't erase what I've done.
Big facts.
I'm saying, so you can talk over it and say, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, but you can't erase that because it's numbers. Yeah. And like I said, as I get older, I care even less about it.
Because like you say, it's stamped.
Exactly. So they don't bother me. They can continue to do it until I no longer have any breath in me, because it doesn't bother me. And like I've said before, when I'm not here, and my time comes, I don't want anyone turn around and say, no, we're going to give him his flowers. I don't want it. Because if you couldn't give my flowers when I was here, don't give my flowers when I'm not here. I mean, and that's what we do. When someone's, he was X, Y, Z.
He's a legend. Yeah.
Keep it moving.
Fair. All right, cool. So, you're doing your thing at Newcastle. You finally get your call from Alex Ferguson. Was that a straight yes?
Yeah. It wasn't a straight yes for me, but it was surprised how it come about. Because I'd actually played for Newcastle on the Sunday in the FA Cup. 1-1, went home that evening, warmed down Monday morning, went home, just about to watch Sheffield United play Man United in the FA Cup. Got a call. The deal for you to move to Manchester United's on. I was like, I went in this morning, no one said anything to me. Even if I always said that I could only leave Newcastle then to go to Man United. Saying Man United was a club I always wanted to play for, you know what I mean? As a young kid, supporting them. I'm like, yeah. You know, when in footballing terms, when you know they don't want you no more as a manager, there's no point in trying to stay around because they're telling you the door's open, you can keep it moving.
You see that, yeah? Nowadays, players outlast managers, though. Yeah. Unless you're at a club where it's like a stable backroom staff and stable board and stuff that they trust.
But that's about winning, though. That's about winning. If a manager's winning consistently, players go.
True, yeah.
However you look at it, football's always going to be about results. That's the top and bottom of football. You could be the best manager in the world. If you ain't getting results, there's an exit over there, you'll be out there.
Unless you're Pep.
Yeah, you're totally different, but his achievements throughout the years.
Yeah, of course, of course.
I mean, the way they've played this season, it's been difficult for them, but they could never turn around and say to me, well, you've had a bad season this season, we're going to sack you. He's been running things for the past 4 or 5 years.
Probably plus, yeah.
That's what I'm saying, so.
Yeah, all right, cool. So, again, most expensive British transfer at the time. Again, you talk about your flowers, but do you look at that at the time and you take that in and think, like, these men want to pay big money for me, like.
I was shocked due to the fact that I'd only been in the Premier League 18 months. Full season, my first full season, 34 goals. Then I played the second season up until the January. So however you look at it, I'd only been in the Premier League nearly 2 years. Now you don't see that nowadays. You don't see someone in the Championship smash it in a year and a half and end up in the Premier League, possibly the biggest club in the world, playing on the biggest stage in the world. So that's just how rapid my rise was from me leaving Arsenal, moving to Bristol City, leaving Bristol City within 6 months of signing for them that summer. I left the March, I believe it was. So signed the summer, left March, got to Newcastle within 18 months.
The biggest club in the country.
That doesn't happen now.
Hey, people need to watch this and put some respect, man. Serious, man. That's crazy. You was there with some big names like Eric Cantona. People rave about him. Like, obviously, I'm too young to like understand. The only thing I remember is the kick of the fan and the collar thing. Yeah. Was he as good as they say?
Yeah. It was a real good play. It was different as well because the English game was what it was, and you had an individual who could just do something totally different, and then he turned and said, "Yo, different."
Okay.
So it was a top player.
So he was the start of the change of the Premier League because, like, I remember Wenger coming in and football totally changing. Like, you hear people like we're eating better and sleeping and all of this stuff, and then you got Henry that comes in and added the pace as a striker and stuff. So was he the first one, you'd say, to change the Premier League?
I think the way he viewed it, yeah, i.e. diet and things like that. The Premier League was it was mad. It was mad. I remember when obviously '95 I joined Man United, but 92 I think I joined Newcastle. Yeah, I remember we used to play because Newcastle back then everything's a slap on the bus. Everything is long. We used to stop off like Weatherby, yeah, something like that. Grab fish and chips, and then them times we were sponsored by McEwen's Lager.
Yes, yeah.
The coach always had a fridge full of cans. Yeah. So obviously we stop off fish and chips, and them times I'd never drank lager. Yeah. And I remember the boys used to come on, like fishing, boom, 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 and then they'd be drinking lager all the way home. Yeah. And then get off. Yeah. And then go home. That's the way it was back then.
Yeah.
That's the way it was back then. So obviously when Wenger came in, and then I think he changed food, he changed drink and all that kind of stuff. I think that was naturally, like you said, the change in the Premier League. I mean, because like I said, being at Man United '95, we still used to have a bar. Come in after playing a game, whatever. If you want to have a pint or whatever, maybe you could. Oh yeah, got it. And that's the way it was early part of football. In those days, that was, hey, get on with it.
It's a culture, isn't it?
Yeah, get on with it. And the guys still used to perform at a level. And that was a maddest thing. You know, still used to perform at a very, very high level.
Nah, I don't think they could do that now. These athletes, these footballers now, they'll be lagging.
Yeah. It's because now they're finely tuned athletes. I mean, from diet, from data, and all that kind of stuff. It's just like when I talk about all these like special bars I have now and all these special drinks. I mean, my time playing was like, yo, cup of tea. We used to sit down before a game, say to the kit man, "Oh, Al, can I have a cup of tea?" Albert bring you a cup of tea, and like, Al, be any Jaffa cakes? I mean, a cup of tea and you got 3 Jaffa cakes. You know what I'm saying?
That's your energy there.
Yeah, and we sit down, whatever, half time, come in. Some of the guys might drink some water. Some guys might drink a little dietitian used to turn up twice a week, put a little bit of creatine in your juice, shake it up and drink. Some guys might drink that. Man's drinking tea at half time. You know, and that's how it should change, because for us, like, we could play football drinking tea, water, or the little juice that our little dietitian guys. It made no difference to us, because I mean that's up here.
Yeah.
Saying so
shouldn't affect your ability, innit? Yeah.
A couple of Jaffa cakes, you're good. Yeah.
All right, cool. So you're at Man United, win your first Premier League. Yeah. Now, what I want to know is, where did you go after? Because I know you shut down something, some sort of club, some sort of bar.
Yeah, we come back to Manchester. We won it. My first one we won against Middlesbrough.
Sorry, how many you got?
5. 5, yeah.
Just the
but
5.
I mean, you don't want to talk about the 5. I mean, when you're at that stage, you talk about the ones that got away.
Yeah, big Wenger, innit?
Yeah, and I think if things had gone to plan, 8.
Was you there when we won at Old Trafford?
Yeah.
Sorry about that, man.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, bro.
I don't mind, you know, because Arsenal were a good team, but it wasn't as good as us.
If we got into this, it'll go left. But yeah, go on.
You wasn't better than us. Otherwise, you'd have done more than what we've done.
Listen. You know? I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to get you in trouble. We'll talk.
You know, but yeah. So the first one was really, really special. I remember we won that, went back to Manchester, and it was 4 seasons.
Okay.
Yeah, we went in there, and yeah, I was just buzzing because it was my first one, and growing up as a kid, you know, you always want to win things. I mean, I won the championship. Div 1 it was called, then championship at Newcastle. I mean, I know I only played 12 games in that, but the way I felt after winning that was just, wow, man, this is so special. And then to win my first Premier League, it was...
That's the pinnacle, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
of like...
It's nuts. Yeah, it's just crazy, man.
Cool. How did you deal with the competition? like you say, it was you yourself, Yorke, Solskjaer, Sheringham, 4
Competition's good.
good strikers.
Competition's good. Never got my head down about it. Just a case of right, you just got to work hard and battle. I think for me personally, I've said to people that I never actually believed that I'd achieved or made it until I retired. I want to improve every season, season now. I mean, the day you believe, oh yeah, I've cracked this. I mean,
that's when the decline.
What I'm saying. So, anyone that the manager brought in, you know, I was always, especially as a centre forward. I mean, he brought Yorke in, he brought Rude in. You know, I was always the first one to say, yo,
welcome,
welcome, boom, 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 try this, try that. I could learn off them, they could learn off me. I mean, because I want to know what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, and how can I become a better player playing with these guys, or even watching these guys. You know, so yeah, for me, it was always good. You know? And, I mean, when you retire and people turn around and say, you know what, Coley, when I first come to the club, you was one of the guys to look after him, man. That makes me feel good to know that I never showed him no bad face when he was here. I mean, I'm competitive like everybody is. I want to play games, but if you come here to do a better job and we're going to win at the end of the season, I'm more than happy with that.
Fair enough. It's a good way to look at it. Sir Alex Ferguson wasn't known for his tactical approach, like players, ex-players come out and say it, but man management, apparently he was the top man.
The best.
What was the best advice he gave you?
Best advice for me? Enjoy it. I always used to say enjoy it, you know. You're not here for long. I mean, your career won't last forever. Go out there and enjoy it. Give it everything you've got. I just think in general, to sit down with him, to have that conversation with him, you know, if you've ever got anything going on outside of football, you've got a problem with, you could always go to, look, boss, X, Y, Z, not a problem. Won't sort it out.
Okay, fair. Yeah. And like yourself, yeah, compared to your teammate, especially your historic strike partner, how did you avoid the whole concept of women? Because Yorke was known for the women and all of that stuff, and he's in the papers and stuff. But how did you keep yourself? I know you're a humble person, but back then it's Yorke and Cole, so people probably think it's Yorke and Cole off the pitch as well. So how did you avoid your?
As my mum always used to say to me when I was younger, you know, man is man. My mum always used to say that to me when I was younger, boy. Man is man. I used to think, nah, man. I mean, I never thought I'd get caught up in that nonsense when I was playing. But at times you get caught up in nonsense,
course,
you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, man is man. But, I mean, with Yorke, the way Yorke looked at it to the way I looked at it, we're totally different. I'm saying because we're all different for a reason. But when you're young and you're enjoying life and you got a few quid in your pocket, I mean, some decisions you make at the time, you think, oh yeah, it's the right decision. Then you realize that it's not the right decision. But that you're youthful. Yeah. I'm saying that's what people fail to understand. If you're youthful, in your mid-20s or whatever it may be, yeah, there's certain decisions that at, for instance, 24, 25, 26, 45, 46, you don't make them decisions, you know, but you're in it. And you're in it, and ultimately you're bomb-proof when you're in it. Yeah. In your head you are.
And you're like, let's have it right, money, you're not making this money. Not average 25-year-old, you're not making that money, do you know what I'm saying? So you're untouchable, basically.
You know, and like you touched on, there's never going to be a shortage of women throwing themselves at you, you know, because the way, like I said, the way women look at you is like, oh, yo, he's X, Y, Z, and he does this and he does that. So you do get caught up in that nonsense, you know. And like I said, decisions, sometimes you make decisions that work, sometimes they don't work.
Nah, cool, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
You make history again, winning the treble. Probably first team in my lifetime. Yeah, first team in my lifetime to do it.
And you know you can't be better than the first team.
Of course not. No, of course not. When did you start believing as a team that this is possible? Because the game against Munich was.
When did we believe when we done it?
Fair.
when we done it, the last 10 days was crazy. Due to the fact that if anyone even spoke about it, it's like, don't be talking like that. I mean, we've got a long way to go. I mean, long 10 days. After what, 9 months, 8-9 months, 10 days becomes very, very long when you're in every competition and you're vying for every competition. So winning the league, when we won the league, it was like, okay.
Tick,
Yeah.
one tick, yeah.
Yeah, tight game. We didn't play particularly well, but we won that. Let's move on. I'm saying, boom. I remember we went out, played the Sunday. We had a little gig at the Lari, and then I think the manager allowed us out Monday as well. So Monday night we went out. Yeah, and then a madness happened. One of the boys got caught up in a madness. We're back in, I think we might have been off the Tuesday, went in Wednesday, the manager went ballistic because one of the boys got caught up in a madness on the Monday. Yeah, we just had to keep low. Train, like I said, I think it was Wednesday, Thursday. Went down to London Friday, trained Friday, went down to London. Played the FA Cup Saturday. Played well, we played well.
Was that Newcastle?
Newcastle.
Yeah, because we beat them the year before for the double, and then you lot beat them the year again. Yeah.
Beat them, played really well that day. We didn't go out. The manager said today, okay, you can have a little celebration, but you know what time it is.
Yeah.
And I don't think any of us kind of like went past one-ish.
Okay, yeah.
I was amazed. We just won the FA Cup. Usually we party till morning. So, yeah, about one-ish. Saturday. Sunday, flew out to Barca. And I remember, all of us in the hotel chilling, having a laugh and joke. Everyone's looking forward to it. Tuesday was like, everyone was like, how you feeling? And I was like, oh yeah, well, we've never been here before. Everyone's like, yeah, it's a bit different, isn't it? Yeah, of course, a bit different. Nervous, but nervous energy because none of us had been there. So if you've never been there before, you don't know what to expect. And it was a bit like that for us. And then I was a man, I could sleep anywhere. If I get on the coach, I drop asleep.
I'm the same, bro. Planes, coach, train, everything.
So we wake up Wednesday morning and the boys said to me, I'll just sleep. I'll just sleep. I said, Cole, how you sleep, man? Because the boys know me. I'll sleep. Yeah? So, terrible. I remember him saying, well, if you didn't sleep, Jesus, we're all in trouble. I say we just bantering, you know? And then, like I said, just preparing for the final and going there and just the spectacle of it.
Had you been at the new camp before?
Yeah. We played Barca every other year. it was like that.
Yeah, okay.
Like every other year we was playing Barca. And then, like I said, we lead up to the game, we do it, play the game. We didn't play particularly well. Everyone knows we didn't play particularly well. But what we had there, we had a team mentality and a team bond that never say die. I'm saying 2 late goals, 2 very late goals. We win the competition and just the celebration, man, on the pitch. And I'm just sitting there now. I can see the pitch now. We're sitting on the pitch with the cup. We're sitting around in a little circle. Everyone's having a laugh and joke, looking up into the heavens and looking at all the Manchester United fans.
They was up there.
Yeah, man. It's just...
I remember for that game, sorry to cut you, Samuel Kofur crying.
Yeah, Sammy's a real nice guy as well.
I remember his face, because they basically had both hands on the trophy, innit?
Yeah, Sammy's a lovely guy, and but like I said, those memories will always stick due to the fact that the way we celebrated as a team and the way we all sat down. And, I remember I took a little bit of time out to myself, centre circle, looking out to the heavens, because my granddad was one of my biggest advocates when it comes to football, and he wasn't there, he'd left us.
Yeah.
And I remember looking up in the air and just saying to myself,
this is for you, man.
Yeah, I've done it, From the journey when you're telling me you've got to take the step backward to go forward. And I've done that, and now I'm in the Champions League. So yeah, for me, it was just an unbelievable day. And then the party after was mad. Come back to Manchester, and I never knew Manchester had so many people in it. You know, the city was lined with people. I mean, up on lampposts, up building, scaffolding, everything. And then, yeah, it was just surreal, absolutely surreal.
I think, yeah, that would be, you lot were probably the first English team in my lifetime to win.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. That's more action, more accolades for that people have to tick off. Would you say that was the greatest moment in your career? The treble?
Yeah, because to know that you're the first British team to have done that, first English team to have done that, is like, what more can you do? When you talk about pinnacle, that is the pinnacle, to know that the major tournament in your country you've won, the major cup in your country you've won, and then you conquered Europe as well. You've got all the best teams. And if you look at our run, we beat all the best teams.
Yeah.
All the best
Juve
teams.
in the semi-finals, isn't it?
Juve semis, Inter, quarters, you know, group of death, Barca.
Oh, snap, yeah.
Bayern, I think, who's Danish team? I can't remember. It slips my mind, but
Brøndby,
yeah.
Brøndby.
That was our
I mean,
group.
That was when you come out of the group, then you get put in another group
That's what I'm
with
saying.
all the difficult. Yeah,
And then the start of that season, we went through a qualifier to get into the Champions League. Yep.
So you played like what 70-odd games? And...
Oh, that season, yeah, easy. But it was worth it, man. It was worth it. Don't worry about that.
No, fair enough, man. Fair enough, bro. Like I say, people just need to sit down and write it down. Just go on Wikipedia, the internet's everywhere, and just look at this man's attributes and just rate him, man. But if you were to play one last game, yeah, this is Andy Cole in his prime, yeah,
Manchester United versus Juventus in Turin.
You didn't even let me finish. All right, cool. That's one question, Tick. But what three ex-teammates, yeah, would you have to have in your team? So there was a Man United 11, yeah. You in your prime as a number 9, and pick 3 players that you'd have to play with.
To what? To go on to win something?
Just in that game, just to enjoy it.
In that game?
Yeah, say you could go back in time and be like, okay, cool, this is your mentality, but you've got your young.
Schmeichel, due to the fact you've always got to have a top goalkeeper. You know what I'm saying? Roy Keane. Yeah. And you know what? The maddest thing is, I'm going to go, if I'm going to be in this game and I'm going to enjoy the game like I did, I've got to play up front with Yorke.
So Schmeichel, Keane. Yeah.
I have to play up front with Yorke because I love playing up front with Yorke due to the fact that he just used to make me laugh. Seriously, he just used to make me laugh. I used to look at him, yeah, and the man's smiling and smiling. I'm like, yo, we've done a business here, you know.
So both of you used to smile?
No, man.
Well, you used to smile after scoring?
Yeah.
Or him scoring?
Yeah. But I was never on the smiling thing. I'm like, come on, man, this is business. And Yorke always used to smile and smile. I'm like, how can you play the game like this, bro? But that was just his energy.
Yeah, that's his thing, yeah.
And the maddest thing is I used to buzz off that energy as well. I used to buzz off him smiling and all that kind of stuff. I used to look at him and say, yeah, man, that's wicked still. I'm not going to lie. But let's get down to business. Yeah. See, players, yeah, a lot of them used to get embroiled in like the bants and I ain't got no time for that nonsense. I mean, man used to try to get into my head. I'm like, I'm the wrong one because I can't get into my head. So you got no chance.
Yeah.
I'm saying, this, that. I'm not the one. I'm saying, I'll just keep my mouth shut and I'll play football. You're this, you're that. Well, that's your opinion, isn't it? You know, and then I'll get a goal and say, okay, what have we got to say? And then we start again.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, I was just so focused on the football pitch. It was mad at times. And I look back at myself now, I try and say to myself, most probably if I wasn't like that, I wouldn't achieve what I achieved. Yeah. But I knew once I crossed the white line, I mean, it's like, yo.
Go time.
Yeah. I let Yorke do all the smiling and say, yeah, you okay and all that.
Yeah.
As the player and some of the boys, you say, Coach, you don't want to say hello to us in the tunnel. I said, no, because I'm going to go play football against you. I'm not saying hello.
Yeah.
So when a lot of us see now, all the hugging and kissing and all that, like, in our day, hug and kiss you after we've won the game or whatever, but not before the game. You know, because people might look at that as, it's a sign of weakness. I mean, when we used to play at Old Trafford, man, a lot of the teams were beaten in the tunnel. You know, just the fear knowing that, right, we got to go Old Trafford. We need to keep it tight for 20 minutes. If we don't, and we got to go down after first 5-10 minutes, you know, this could be a hiding. You know?
But you lot had that never say die mentality.
Oh, 100%.
Was it Tottenham? Did you play in that game?
5-3.
3-0 down,
Yeah.
and you won 5-3. Like, you did that quite a lot, to be fair.
Yeah, that day.
Fergie time.
Yeah, that day was really good for us because I remember going 3-0 down at half time, and I mean Tottenham and all the fans and all the staff were celebrating at half time and that. And I remember we going in and the manager sat there, crossed his leg, didn't say a word. No, I didn't say a word. And I remember buzzer goes, and he said, "Oh, you better go out there and redeem yourself." And I think I got the first one after 3-4 minutes, 3-1, and then after that.
That's, yeah.
Yeah, and that was us.
Poor Tottenham, man.
Yeah, that was us.
This is 2 questions in one. Who did you love playing against, and who were your toughest opponents? It could be a player or a team.
Team I love playing against Liverpool. If you look at my record in the Premier League, I think I got the most goals against Liverpool. Yeah, most goals against Liverpool. Didn't matter what form I was in, the manager would always play me against Liverpool at Anfield. Always. I always scored there. You know, not just at Newcastle. I mean, not just at Man United. Newcastle, but always scored there.
Yeah.
It was just something like, I fancy it. It's not like I didn't fancy the other game, but the kind of place you want to go and play football anyway. Yeah, man, I have to go there and do my thing and get goals.
Toughest opponent?
They're all tough.
All of them, yeah?
When you're at elite level, everyone's tough, you know. People might say, oh, he wasn't the best, he's not the best. Why do you think he's playing at this level? Because he's a good player.
Yeah.
I'm saying, so I never went out there disrespected anyone or whatever, because I knew I was going to win the battle from the first minute to the 91st minute or whenever it may be. So for me, I always try and say it was all tough. When you got the boys right at the top, obviously they're better than the other boys.
Yeah.
That's why they're right at the top.
Yeah.
But every opponent I played against, was tough. I never went in there to disrespect anybody, but I never feared anybody. You know, so you just got to wait up that way.
Well, fair enough. All right, just going to step away from football a bit. Like, how are you keeping, man? Health-wise, obviously you had your scare. How's that? Like, are you fully recovered, all good?
I'm never going to fully recover. I've accepted that. I just got to try and work with it. I mean, when you get yourself to a certain age, sometimes you say to yourself, okay, the things you want to do and there's things you might not be able to do. But you just got to try and marry those things together. I understand it a lot more. And I work with it a lot better now. Yeah, I work with it a hell of a lot better now. Just take the good days for what they are, the bad days when they come, accept them, but try and keep moving.
How did you find out? Like, was you going through illness? And
stuff? I just went for a mad illness, to be fair. I was away with Man United on a promotional trip to Vietnam. Got back, didn't feel particularly well. By the time I realised I'm in hospital, man, you know, the consultant telling me that you've got a problem with your kidney. Yeah, and that is life. And, you know, the way I look at life now, you know, tomorrow's not a given. So you have to enjoy today for what it is. And, I mean, give everything, man. Give everything in every day you have, because life can be short.
Yeah. This type of stuff my dad was saying, because he just beat cancer. And he's like, he used to just joke about it, because he used to FaceTime me and be like, I'm going, like, bye, like, I'm like, Dad's like I'm distraught, like, I'm like, Dad, you can't think like that. But he's like, it's what it is. I've lived a good life, like, you're good, my other kids are good, like, me every other year is just a blessing, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It comes to us all in the end, you know. It all depends on what your perception is of life, and, you know, when you find yourself in that vulnerable position, how you going to deal with it. You know, I mean, my kids were saying, oh, but Dad, I mean, you're a Superman and you're super. I mean, kids will always look at their parents like that. But, I mean, like I say, my kids now, you know, I remember when I first felt ill, you know, and I kept saying to my kids, look, if Dad gets to 50, I'll be happy. And saying, they say, oh, Dad, stop talking like that. You're going to live forever. My daughter, Dad, you're going to live forever. But I'm saying, nah, I'm not going to live forever. But what I'm saying, I found myself in a position that I never thought I was going to find myself in. So for me now, it's every day as it comes.
Yeah.
You know, so if I get there, I'll be more than happy to get there. If I don't, it wasn't meant to be. But I've lived a good life. So yeah, as my dad used to say when he was here, you know what I mean, tomorrow's not a given. You know?
Yeah.
Enjoy life for what it is, because when your time comes, it comes.
Yeah, it's got to be remembered for the good times,
Yeah.
isn't it? Is there anything you miss that you can't do now that you used to do that?
Most probably not, because the way I live now, I really do try and enjoy it even more. I travel a lot. I love having the opportunity to see different countries. Yeah, just live, man. That's what I'm trying to do now. Live. I mean, I'm trying to stay away from the stress thing, but you know, in life is always gonna have something going on.
Yeah.
I mean, but just in general, all I keep saying to myself, you know, just live, man, live. I mean, you got yourself in a fortunate position. I mean, you've been let down along the way, but haven't we all? But it's just how you persevere and how you move forward.
All right, cool. Just winding down. So, like, retirement. Did you have things in place? Did you start thinking about it, or is it just like?
With time, I mentally had things in place, but I realized a lot when I come to the end of my career that everyone's not what they say they are. You know, when you win it to win it. When you win it, you got loads of
Everyone's your best friend.
yeah, everyone's backslapping you. You know, telling you how great you are. When you get to that stage of your career or your life whereby you're coming to the end, the backslapping becomes a little bit less. And then when you do retire, there's no more backslapping, you know, because everyone's moved on to the next thing or whatever it may be. And there's certain mistakes that I made when I was younger. And I look back and say to myself, well, I wouldn't do this, I wouldn't have done that. You know, I would never, ever have had an agent if I knew what I knew now when I was playing football. Because an agent can only bring something to you, yeah, when you're doing something good. If you're not doing anything good, the agent can't bring anything to you. I mean, so my time with the maddest thing is the agent I met at the front end of my career to the back end, you might as well marry them together because in the end they both did me. I mean, it's one of those ones. And I look back and say to myself, well, that's the lesson I was meant to learn. If I wasn't meant to learn it, I'd never got myself in that position. But it's made me realise that, well, okay. That's not a problem. That's not a problem because it is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, we learn from mistakes, and with those mistakes, you take them on the chin.
Fair enough. You started the Andy Cole Fund. Just tell us about that.
Yeah, I think when I went down my illness, it was difficult to try and comprehend. Processing a situation of like being so fit for so many years, and all of a sudden I find myself in this position where I'm very ill. And I remember sitting down with Kid in Research UK, and sitting down with a lady there. She said, "Look, Andrew, I think you'll be able to help others in this position." And I'm of the ilk of what I've gone through. I don't think I can help anybody. I can just about help myself, you know. But then when I thought about it, and I said to myself, how I've dealt with it, other people might have dealt with it a totally different way. And if I can try and help anybody, yeah, in that way to deal with it better than I did, I want to do just that. So I got involved in that, started out my own fund, and I've enjoyed it. I've loved it, to be fair. To know that so many people will come back and say, you know, you don't understand how much you've helped us.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not sure how I am because I'm very open about it in the struggles I've had mentally. It's been tough and all those kind of things. But they're saying, well, with just those things, you know, you're open and you're talking about it, whereby a lot of people don't talk about it. You know, and I said it's been good for me. It's been good being able to talk about it. We've raised good money over the past 3-4 years. I think we're up to $500,000 now.
Oh, decent.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm proud of it. I'm proud of the people I work with as well, that they're putting so much time and try to grow it to where it is.
It's that comfort because, like you say, everyone handles things differently. But to say, right, like, this is a professional footballer. He's been, like you say, fit his whole career. Can go through these things and overcome them. I can do it as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think you know, as young black men or older black men, you know, we're individuals. We don't talk about that kind of stuff. We just like get on with it. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, it stays on top of your head. You know, you don't talk about it. I remember my dad, you know, I was saying yesterday, my dad never spoke about anything. I mean, if he was ill, you'd never know he was ill. He'd still get up and go to work.
Yeah.
If he's ever got anything going on in his head, you'd never know because today was yesterday, yesterday was today. Everything was exactly the same. I mean, all to when he passed away, I'd never ever know what my dad went through because he just never spoke about it. All he ever wanted was like for me to be better.
Yeah.
You know, so
It's taking that stress away from you.
yeah,
Focus.
yeah. So like I said, I think for our generation now as black men, is for us to show the younger generation that you can come out and talk about it. It's not a problem.
Yeah.
I mean, man ain't gonna say, yo, big
Soft, yeah.
I mean, them days are gone now. Come out and talk about it. You know, get it off your chest and make things a little bit lighter for yourself.
Yeah, cool. A question I was meant to ask at the beginning is that, does your son keep you young? Like, does he style you?
Nah, he don't style this, bro. He don't style this. I mean, my daughter said, Dad, why are you dressed so young? I'm like, 'cause I feel young, innit?
Yeah, fair. Yeah.
But I've always loved fashion. I mean, the maddest thing is,
I see you shining.
the maddest thing is, you see my son. Yeah, my son used to always go in my wardrobe.
Okay,
my gear and that. Yeah, because we're both the same size, like feet size and that. So I said, I'll come back. Yeah, I said, yo, but where's my shoes though? My shoes with my son's wardrobe and all them things. You know what I mean? So I always knew he was nicking my gear, my jackets and all that. So yeah, we love fashion. You know, he dresses well. I dress well when I decide to put on clothes and that. So yeah, I mean, fashion. It is what it is.
It is what it is, man.
I mean, it upsets a few people that have got too much clothes and that. You know what I'm saying? But
hey, clothes can't done, man. Clothes can't
there
done.
you go. That's the way I view it.
Yeah.
Clothes, shoes, kicks.
And it always comes back round, so you can't throw that. Listen, you can't throw nothing away, man.
There you go,
man. Andy, thank you so much.
No problems, man.
Hope you enjoyed that, man.
Thank you, Baba.
Thank you.
Bless you, man.